Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Wizards podcast. This is your host, Ed Oliver and Dealante Daniels. Welcome back to another episode. So tough loss tonight. 2 losses in a row. And it's kind of like the same game. You know, each team, they're just packing in the paint and daring us to shoot. But before we do break down this game, this episode, thanks for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. This episode is brought to you by McDonald's. Proudly serving community since 1965, McDonald's has always been more than just a place to get tasty, affordable food. It's an unofficial community center. A big thank you to our friends at McDonald's for always being there. I'm loving it. So, D, what was your takes on the game? I know a lot of people feel a certain way about the refs tonight. I'm not going to blame it all on the refs, but, you know, I'll just let you start off with your takeaways and break down for what you saw tonight.
Well, I'm going to start off with the ref situation. Now, like you said, that isn't the full reason the Wizards lost the game. It was a lot that happened in between and before that. It was a whole game in the first half before that, etc. But that missed goaltending and that 5-point swing because you had the foul on KCP after that. I mean, which you could, I guess, could say was a foul technically, but when I could clearly see a goaltend, I clearly seen the ball hit off the backboard, and I can see that from my TV. You know, when you're right there on the court, I don't know how you missed that call. That's pretty inexcusable on my point. It was a big turning point and a big shift in that game, even though the Wizards did fight back and get it back down again. That was a huge turning point. That should have been 2 points for the Wizards. And the refs were questionable at best, I would say. But once again, the Wizards, their 3-point shooting was really bad. 8 for 32 from the 3-point line, 25%. When you're shooting 32 3-pointers, you got to make more than 8. You got to make more than 8 of them. Like you see the Raptors, they shot 25 threes, they made 10 of them. They were at 40%. At one point in the game, in that second half, they were at 50% from the 3 and 49% from the field. They finished at 47% from the field. Fred VanVleet. It's not like VanVleet was hitting wide open shots. He was hitting those shots that just picks at your soul every time. It goes up and it just goes in. And they were tough shots, tough ISO baskets. That was a classic Wizards killer performance by VanVleet tonight. 33 points, 13 for 22 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3. He killed it. Bradley Beal, 25 points. I think Bradley Beal, honestly, I can't complain about the game he had. Now, I know some things towards the end of the fourth quarter you maybe can nitpick at. But 25 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. I know you went 8 for 18 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3. But Montrezl Harrell gave some energy when he came in, 15 points, 10 rebounds. But outside of Montrezl, I feel like outside of spurts, there wasn't really any solid second contributor in this game. You know, I feel like Spencer Dinwiddie didn't do much as far as being that second guy today. I feel like he could have done a little bit more. You know, and I know, like I said, Deni was a big spark in that third quarter, but I'm talking about for majority of the game, not just in spurts. So just those things right there are just some of the first things that come to my head.
Definitely, yeah. The goaltend that was missed definitely killed us. And then Corey Kispers gets the tech, and then they shoot a free throw. Then we come down. They call an offensive foul on Spencer Dinwiddie on the next play, which was a terrible call. Also, they call the intentional foul on Montrezl, so they got 2 free throws. So there were just some swings here and there, but you know, like you said, we didn't lose just because of the refs. You know, VanVleet putting up 33 points. They had a team effort. The Raptors had a team effort. Svi Mykhailiuk, we talked about him yesterday. He had 14 points. OG played well, had 21 points. Gary Trent Jr. had 15. Birch had 9, and they're doing this without Pascal. They did it without Scotty Barnes tonight too. So they're just on a tear. They won 5 games in a row now. They were looking for the revenge. They came out. They got hot. They got a couple wide open threes too. But a lot of the shots were some tough shots. The Wizards, they didn't have a terrible defensive night. There were times in the first half where they did get a good amount of offensive rebounds. Chris Boucher was rebounding well. Precious was getting some offensive boards. Birch was getting some offensive boards. So they were out toughing us. I listened to a little bit of Wes Unseld Jr.'s press conference. He said that he didn't like the effort tonight. So I thought we put some more effort in the second half. But just some ill-advised threes at the end. Bill took a ill-advised 3 at the end, and Dinwiddie took an ill-advised 3 at the end when we should be attacking more because we have gotten in foul trouble. We've gotten the bonus pretty quick, so it's like we got to use that to our advantage and attack more. So, but yeah, they got hot, and the scouting report now is just to pack the paint in and dare the Wizards to shoot threes, and that's the scouting report on us now. If you can limit Brad and just have him shoot threes. Kyle Kuzma had a rough night tonight. He was 1 for 10 from the field tonight. So he was just off tonight. He was missing layups and didn't shoot the ball well. We need guys like him to step up. Like you said, we needed a second guy. Kuzma got hurt too. So that's a guy who has stepped up big time for when we won games. He's been huge for us getting double-doubles. KCP was 0 for 6 from the 3-2, 4 for 13. That's another guy who could have stepped up for us tonight too. So we were definitely missing something tonight, and the Raptors just took it to us. They kind of punched us in the mouth in our own home and just took it to us. They clearly wanted revenge. So we just got to get back to the drawing board and make adjustments. I'm interested to see what adjustments that Wes Unseld Jr. is going to make going forward. But yeah, we can talk about that next, and then just talk about the impact of Kuzma being injured and of course breaking down how some other guys played and some other takeaways, and talk about, Deni's performance. We'll get to that. Corey Kispert and some other guys. I thought Hall Neto impacted the game pretty well tonight. I thought he tried. He had 14 points tonight. But before we do get into that, this episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now possible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure often pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning like, is your Odyssey an LX or an EX? And wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer, choosing the only brand their warehouse happens to carry. You have computers with access to rockauto.com and at home and in your pocket. Save time and money when using Rock Auto. Rock Auto is a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. Rock Auto's prices are reliably low for every customer. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck right locked on in their How Did You Hear About Us box, so they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need at rockauto.com. This episode is also brought to you by Bet Online. We're back and better than ever. A new web interface for the start of the basketball season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. Bet Online remains your number one spot for all the basketball and football action this season. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code Locked On and receive your bonus for basketball, football, baseball, postseason, boxing, UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. All right, so I just wanted to get some more takes on the game, anything that you saw, and also let's break down Deni's performance tonight, because I know a lot of people want to hear about Deni and his development. So how did you feel about that?
Well, for a majority part of this game, I felt like the Raptors just wanted it more. I felt like the Raptors came out with more energy. I felt like the Raptors played harder. There was points where on the offensive boards, the Raptors wanted it more, and they got those offensive rebounds. And the Wizards looked flat. They looked flat on offense. They came out, the energy was low. And like I said, in spurts in the second half, the energy was up. They had runs. They went on little runs where they got that energy. They got the crowd into it. But for a majority of this game, a big part of this game, the Raptors just simply they wanted it more. They hustled more. And when you look at the teams, and you would think the Wizards should, have a good shot at winning this game, or they were favored in this game with the betting odds. They were favored. But, I mean, when you got a team that has decent players in the Raptors as well, who also are just, playing really good, really hard ball and hustling and want it, you got to match that. You got to match that. Or else they're going to run you out the gym. And the Raptors tried their hardest to run their Wizards out of the gym. So, as far as that, my thoughts on just the energy levels of the game. I feel like the Raptors, for a big part of the game, was the harder fighting team. And as far as Deni, I would say the free throws. He was 2 for 6 from the free throw line. He has to be able to make his free throws. He has to. I know late in the fourth quarter, he went to the free throw line again. He went 1 for 2, but 2 for 6 isn't going to cut it. Especially when you got a guy in a center in Montrezl Harrell who's 9 for 10 from the free throw line and 7 for 7 from the free throw line, etc. You got to be able to make your free throws. The finishing, the layups. I know he had one blunder when he was like right at the basket and he didn't get that one to go in. And there was one opportunity. I think it was Van Vleet who fouled him, but he's a smaller guard. Denny's like 6'9". He has to be able to finish those and get those and one opportunities and get those 3-point plays. I think that I don't remember if he missed both of those free throws or if it was 1 for 2. I know he didn't make both of them. Right. So, that's what I'm saying. You got to be able to finish at the rim, have a good touch at the rim. And like I say, he's 20. So when he gets a little stronger as he gets older, that finishing, maybe that'll come along as well. But you definitely got to be able to finish the ball. And you definitely got to make your free throws, man, because when you get fouled in late games, you're going to be counted on to hit both of them, not just go 1 for 2.
Yeah, because they really might start hack a Deni or hack a Ben Simmons to Deni if he's not making these free throws. And I like the point that you said about them playing harder. And also they played the passing lanes too. I thought we got pretty sloppy towards the end of the half. There was a point where we were down by 16 at one point where they really could have blown us out. But, one thing about this team is they don't quit. I'll say that. It looked like there was a point where the Hawks could have ran away with it too, but we do claw and climb back. And we cut it to 5 at one point down in the fourth quarter. We cut it down to 6 at one point before the half. But, Fred VanVleet comes downhill or Gary Trent gets an and one at the end of the half. So the Raptors, they just made big shots. Every time we kept chipping away at the lead, the Raptors found a way to just make a big shot or just some type of momentum swing happen. But I do like the effort that we did give. As far as Deni, you got to make your layups. You're too tall to be missing these wide open layups and bunnies and chippies. It's happening at least once a game. And, you're just – You got to make your layups because they're free. The free throws are free. The saying, the free throws are free. You got to hit them 2 for 6 from the free throw line is unacceptable. He missed a free throw down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Now, there were some positives. He did hit a 3. He did cut to the basket pretty well. I thought he was a solid rebounder today. He had a nice offensive rebound and then kicked it out to Bradley Beal for a 3, and Bradley Beal knocked it down. He had 11 points and 6 boards, was a +5 and plus-minus category. So there were some positives, but there definitely are some glaring things that he needs to work on. Like you said earlier, getting in the weight when we're getting stronger. That should help his finishing through contact, through those and ones. You got to finish that. So I like some things that I saw, but at the same time, definitely some things to work on. Trez, I thought he stood out today, 15 points, 10 boards. But yeah, they're definitely starting a game plan for him because they are packing the paint. Where that first game, it's kind of like the Raptors just didn't know what hit them. But they looked like they were ready for the aggressiveness of our bigs. They were ready for Gaff. Gaff had a couple good dunks, but it looks like their bigs were just ready to pack in the paint and just be a lot more physical than what it was that first game because it looks like we were the ones that bullied them and punched them in the mouth. But this time, it looks like they came out and punched us in the mouth instead. One note is Aaron Holiday. He only had 5 minutes tonight. I don't know why he didn't get a lot of minutes tonight. I didn't see him play badly, but I guess he just couldn't really crack the rotation tonight. And Holiday got the bulk of the minutes because he played pretty well. But yeah, we're going to get to, I guess, player of the game and X factor for tonight. Unfortunately, we come out on the losing side and just there's some different things we want to see from the Wizards going forward to play, what we want to see from them when we play against the Grizzlies on Friday night. We won't break it down too much because, we do have the preview coming up tomorrow. But before we do get into that, this episode is brought to you by McDonald's. This episode of Locked On Wizards is brought to you by McDonald's, proudly serving community since 1965. McDonald's has always been more than just a place to get tasty, affordable food. It's a place where friends and family can come to reconnect. A place where classmates can meet up for a study group, knowing they'll have dependable Wi-Fi and endless supplies of French fries and McFlurries. Win or lose, it's a place where teammates, competitors, the home team, or the away team can come to recharge. It's a place you always look forward to stopping at on a long road trip to rest your legs and refuel. Grab McDonald's after a busy day or when you're late to something and need something delicious and dependable. Also, after birthday parties and stopping at McDonald's after a big sporting event. So head to your local McDonald's to refuel and reconnect. Did somebody say Locked On Wizards watch party? I'm loving it. All right, so let's get into who we thought stood out tonight, on both sides, like player of the game and X factor of the game, and then some things that we want to see the Wizards work on for the Grizzlies game. And then also it was reported that Kyle Kuzma is day-to-day right now with the forearm contusion. So hopefully he can be back. And then I guess if Kuzma is out, who do you want to see step up in his absence if he can't play? Also, Bertans is going to be out for the rest of the week as well. I forgot to mention that earlier. So we got some guys that we need to see step up in these next couple of games.
Player of the game, got to go with Van Vleet. I mean, the guy was making tough shot after tough shot. At one point, he was the Raptors' offense. So, player of the game, easily Van Vleet. X Factor, I would say, I could give it to Mihailuk. Mm-hmm. I think, in the first, he was more effective towards that first half. Mm-hmm. He had, I think it was towards the end of the second quarter, he hit a nice three. He has a quick release too. I know the Wizards was interested in him at one point.
Right. But, yeah, I was thinking about that too.
So I'll give the X factor to him. With Kyle Kuzma, who I would want to see step up if he does miss time, I'm going to go back to Deni. I want to see Deni step up. I want to see Deni continue to, instead of just that little spark he had in that third quarter, I want to see that more consistently. I want to see him be able to hit that three-point shot. I want to see him be able to hit those free throws, finish at the rim, etc. Be aggressive. If Kuzma's out, I'm looking at Deni. This is going to be more another big opportunity for him to earn more minutes. You got Bertans out, and then you could possibly be missing Kuzma. So Deni, I think naturally will be looking at more minutes. He had 26 tonight. So I will be looking at Deni Avdija. And one thing I will say, this is the first losing streak of the season. First losing streak of once Unseld Jr.'s head coaching career. I mean, you got a Grizzlies team coming up that the Wizards have struggled against in the past. I mean, just with their athleticism and, Dylan Brooks with he loves that matchup against Bradley Beal. He loves playing defense against big stars, guard stars in the league. So they'll be ready. And then you got John Morant obviously coming in. So they'll be ready. This is gut check time for the team. How do they respond? We asked it after the Brooklyn Nets game, and they responded well against the Boston Celtics. So how will they respond after their first losing streak of the season? Will they lose? Will they extend it to 3 games? Or will they step up and get the dub against Memphis? We'll see.
Definitely, yeah. And we want to see more ball movement. That's what people have been harping on a lot. There's a lot of times we just settle. I just want to see them attack the ball, attack the basket more, be more aggressive doing that. I want to see Spencer Dinwiddie step up. I really do. But just other guys that I think are going to get more playing time. Of course, Corey Kispert. He did hit a 3, then he missed another 3 badly, and then he had a nice finish. He had a nice take to the basket, too, where he got fouled. So I did like him showing some type of athleticism there and just something that Bertans doesn't bring to the table much. And, of course, Deni, too. He's just got to finish his layups and knock down a couple shots and be better from the free throw line. Player of the game was, of course, Fred VanVleet. You can't really go with anybody else on that. I would say OG Anunoby had 21 points and 5 boards. I thought he was good defensively. He got a couple of deflections and some fast break points when we started getting sloppy. And, he had a nice deflection on KCP and just went down for a dunk. But, yeah, those are the guys I really want to see step up. I want to see a good game.
Not to interrupt, but I just looked it up. I brought up Dylan Brooks, but I didn't even notice. He isn't even playing. He has a broken hand. He's still recovering, so he hasn't even been playing. So we don't even got to worry about Dylan Brooks. So go ahead.
Yeah. And I looked at it too. I was like, Scotty Barnes isn't playing tonight. I was like, we should take advantage of that. And of course, Pascal not being out, but they just took it to us and they kind of locked us down at some point. So, but like you said, the Grizzlies are going to be a tough test for us. You got to see how the team responds with adversity. Everything's great when we're winning. We're 5-1, but we just lost 2 games, so we got to see how this team responds mentally. A big word they've been saying is resiliency. So can they be resilient and bounce back? And you look at the schedule, we played the Bucks too. So the next remaining schedule, well, not the remaining schedule, but just the next the stretch of 5 games, we played the Grizzlies at home. They're 4-3. We played the Bucks with Giannis at home. So that's going to be we got 2 tough games in a row. So we could easily be 5-5, and it really could mess up the momentum that we had. We got the fans in it and everything, and everybody's picking us. You rose up in the power rankings. We made good strides. So we don't want to fall back and revert to some bad habits of the past years. Then the schedule does ease up a little bit. We got the Cavs next Wednesday, then the Magic next Saturday. So it does, and then the Pelicans. So we got 2 tough games and then 3 games that are really, really winnable. But of course, I'm not going to jump the gun and just say, all right, we're just going to win those next couple games. So I just want to see them rebound better too, and take care of the ball and better shot selection down the stretch. So that's what I'm looking for for the Grizzlies. But we'll do a full breakdown and preview and kind of a scouting report of the Grizzlies to preview. And then we might do a mailbag episode tomorrow. So we'll let you guys know about that early in the morning. So if you do have questions, just in case we do a mailbag, you guys just want to comment some questions, some things that you want to see differently from the Wizards and what they want to improve on, what you guys thought about the Wizards through the first 8 games so far. So, D, is there anything else you want to add for tonight?
I would say I just want to see the Wizards continue to fight. The schedule's been hard. They've had a rough schedule. The schedule they've had so far has not been easy. They've played a lot of tough teams. I mean, they played the Nets, the Hawks, the Celtics twice. The Hawks twice, the Pacers, who just beat the Knicks. I mean, they've had a tough schedule. Then, like you said, you got the Grizzlies, then the Bucks coming up. So they just got to keep fighting. Keep getting these wins. Don't let the losses, get the best of you. Even the best teams in the NBA go on losing streaks, 2-3 games losing streaks, etc. You know what they do? They get better and they recover and they win. And that's what the Wizards need to do. Yes, it's a 2-game losing streak. Do your best to not let it get to 3. You at home against the Grizzlies and the Bucks. Give the home fans something to cheer about.
Right. Yeah, I was going to insert a Celtics joke since it looks like they're down bad right now. It looks like the Celtics are really struggling, but we're not going to laugh at them right now. We got to get our stuff together too. So, but yeah, I just want to thank you guys for listening tonight and tuning in. Make sure you guys check out Josh Lloyd and on fantasy basketball. Josh Lloyd hosts the #1 daily fantasy basketball show on the planet. It's free and available on all platforms. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube and hit the notification bell. We will, of course, we do daily episodes and game recaps on the weekends. All right, you guys, hail to the Wizards. Peace.